Welcome to the Green Wisdom Health Podcast with Dr. Stephen and Janet Lewis, where you will learn about natural solutions to common ailments. And now, here are your hosts, Dr. Stephen and Janet Lewis.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. I'm Janet Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Lewis.
And we are Green Wisdom Health, home of your low-cost lab work, here to bring you a interesting show on an interesting topic called Aging Gracefully. We're all going to do it. Some of us are going to do it better than others, and we're here to help you be one of the one that does it better than others. So we're going to help you do it with health and grace. So Dr. Lewis is going to educate us a little bit today about what can we do to slow this process down or at least look good doing it.
She said everybody's going to do it. I'm thinking about aging or being graceful. It's like, well, we do get these questions a lot, and we do sell a lot of products based on a person's vanity. Is that the right word? People
obviously they have whole stores built on people's vanity. So
oh yeah, okay, sorry. She just got out of one about an hour ago.
That great stuff.
I'm going to throw a lot of information out here, and I appreciate the fact that some people seem to put it together, or at least they'll ask questions. Well, you said this, and what does that mean? And I'm real okay with that. That's why I really prefer that people join the Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis and ask questions. So I appreciate the questions that we got here recently. So here I go, rambling down the rabbit trail. There's something called cytokines that are actually cell messengers, but if you get high cytokines and your body doesn't know how to deal with them, those are the ones that can turn into and disrupt cell production or reproduction. And a lot of those big entities say that has a lot to do with getting cancer. Skincare goes back several thousand years, back whenever the queens lived, like Cleopatra she was bathing in milk and honey with fresh fruits. And actually, that's probably a smart thing to do because they would have the antioxidants in them. And of course, I'm a big fan of honey since I'm a beekeeper. I hope. I'll go check my 8 hives tomorrow, maybe. Chamomile's a good one. But you got to realize you've got different types of nervous systems. And the autonomic nervous system, it also regulates things like breathing, the heart pumping. But there's a positive and negative things that work together. This speeds up, this slows down to bring about balance. And one of the things that you hear, Janet, and I talk about a lot is estrogens. Had a lady yesterday from Illinois asked me about estrogen. Her doctor wanted to put her on estrogen. And I said, well, I'm not an MD. I personally think with what's going on, you can do it in a small dose and we can keep it from becoming a bad thing. And that's partly through probiotics, which I'm going to get into with another question later. Estrogen's very, very dangerous, but if you don't watch it, it's kind of like a pig in a parking lot. It takes up a lot of space and never leaves. It's a good thing men have a little bit of estrogen or we'd become werewolves with the way we look too and grow way, way too much hair. But the skincare has been around for thousands of years. Some of the herbs in skincare, I'm just going to go through a few of them, is aloe vera, black tea, green tea. Borage oil is a really, really good one. Comfrey, I know there's a little bit of controversy about comfrey being toxic. My idea is no, and you should probably grow some of that stuff in your backyard. Grape seed extract, ginkgo's good, licorice root, vitamin C and white willow bark is, a really good thing. There's another question that's going to come up later that we're going to go over. But if you wake up at night, probably what happens, you burned up your blood sugar and you wake up, then you get what happens is your adrenal glands are stimulated and they need to dump the matrix, which actually means that you kind of got to get rid of some of your toxins, because we've talked about sleep before, and usually that's because, I can't stay asleep because your body's really toxic. So when I have trouble sleeping, there are different things you can do to detox, and you can, shoot me a a message on Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis or an email, and I'll tell you more personal stuff. But Janet hands me massive amounts of probiotics because it decreases the cytokines, which are the cell messengers. There's the toxic waste that I talk about. It kind of stores in the blood if you're not having all those detox pathways going on. And it'll also, in a bad way, affect your hair, skin, and nails. And Janet's going to talk about that here sometime in the podcast too. Hair, skin, and nails is pretty important. And if your hair, skin, and nails begin to go downhill, that's a really good first sign of something's not happening. It's not healthy. Because each and every cell has a thyroid receptor, and it has to be in balance in order to communicate. And that goes back to the autonomic regulatory system, the communication there.
I think that's interesting. Can I just throw my 2 cents in here?
You can throw in $20 and take me to lunch. Oh, sorry.
Your nails. You know, there's a lot of girls, young girls, including myself, that when...
Young. She's young.
Right. Well, at one point, the nails would peel and split even when you were in high school. But what I've noticed is now that I'm healthier, I have strong nails. So you're saying, you know, your nails are a good indicator, and you're thinking, well, you have to be old for it to start not being good, but you can actually start off not being good young.
We're getting worse genetics because of the bad food. And, you know, that's why I keep telling people, write your congressmen, senators, whoever those buffoons are that so-called govern us, and talk to them about food safety. Talk to them about quit spraying that glyphosate or Roundup on it, and quit genetically modifying this stuff. Another thing, well, we talk about hair, skin, and nails. Janet's talking about nails more specifically, but wrinkles. Wrinkles really and truly are about it's something called glycation. It's advanced glycation, which that goes along with the metabolic syndrome / heading toward diabetes. You've got more rusting going on than polishing. Now Janet's looking to see if she has wrinkles.
I don't have any wrinkles.
No, she really looks good for 30.
I got good genetics.
No, genetics does play a part in it, but you can control. I shouldn't say control. You can greatly influence your genetics with nutrition, even in the subject of cancer, which we'll get into one of these days. But if you start wrinkling, you've got a lot more things breaking down. Your defenses are neutrophils and lymphocytes, types of white blood cells, and that's one thing Janet and I always look at. People with lower cortisol usually have lower stress or less oxidation or glycation, and it's lower cortisol to a point. And those people have better hair, skin, and nails.
But then you can get it really low with your cortisol, and your hair is going to fall out, and so will your nails.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you're overstressed. And I'd like to say something about teeth. Because your teeth and gums have got a lot to do with your health as well.
Absolutely.
And that's a beauty thing. Is this part of our beauty show, Cosmedix, your teeth?
Hey, you're the boss. Whatever you say.
Well, I just had a great story, and I'm pretty excited about it. You know, I've told many of y'all, you know, you've heard my train stories and our digestive issues ourselves. And because of the bad or poor digestion that I had many years, my gum health in my mouth was bad. My gums would bleed. I have beautiful teeth, but I actually had one that just, when I was about 25, it just fell out. I was chewing a piece of gum and the whole tooth just fell out, and my teeth looked great. So there was a core issue there with gum health, and it got to the point that I was going to the dentist every 3 months, and I guess the icing on the cake for that was whenever, you know, because I've got really pretty white teeth. I had bacteria, I guess, in my gums, and the dentist decided to put some blue dye in there to kill it. Well, when she did that, my teeth turned blue, and they were blue for like 2 days. And at that point, I thought, this can't happen. I can't do this. And so we started really, really working more on, you know, like the We use the hydrogen peroxide with some really great mouthwash. We talk about the periobiotic toothpaste that we carry that has the great probiotic in it for gum health. And then things started getting better. And I started doing a lot of the digestive enzymes like Panplex and things that calm down gut. And it got to where, okay, she let me go 6 months. Well, the teeth cleaning was still abusive when you got down there, but I did not have to do the dye anymore, and things were holding their own. Well, I just got back from the dentist today. I'd been on a 6-month reprieve, and she went in to clean my teeth, and she said, you don't even have any plaque at all. Because I said, that has got to be the smoothest teeth cleaning I've ever had in my life. And she said, what are you doing? She said, your teeth they look great. Your gums are great. They're not bleeding. They're light pink like they should be. And I traced it back, and about 4 months ago, I guess we got that product we keep telling y'all about called SBI Protect. That's been a godsend for many people with gut problems because it
immune
actually,
problems too.
Yeah, and autoimmune problems.
Yeah.
It actually goes in and heals the gut over time, and it takes it right at about 3 months to work. So when you think, hey, I don't really feel anything, you don't really have to feel anything with this. It's just working. And that is what we have traced it back to, that has actually repaired my gut to the point that my teeth are good and my gums are good, and we have something physical on the outside that we can see now that it works. So when you're talking about health and beauty, you've got to repair gut leakiness as well to make all of those things look better on the outside, correct?
Yeah, and I just talked to a lady that went to school with Janet, and she says, well, do you think this lab relates to my GI tract? Because I'm reading it's all in the gut. And I said, absolutely. People are beginning to get that. And then I had another patient this morning that came in. She says, well, I saw this show called The Second Brain. I said, I've got the book. I've read it. She says, really, the gut has more influence, more fibers going to the brain than the brain has going to the gut? I said, yeah, guess what that means? That means which one controls who. But, there's a lot that you can do to put it together. For example, mandatory factors for beautiful hair, skin, and nails is low cortisol, but not too low. We have the different adrenal support supplements, and keep stress to a minimum. Stress is not always what happens to you, but it's your reaction to it in a big way. Glucose levels have to be stable and not fluctuate wildly. We'll talk about at different times diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and obesity. Insulin levels have to be low. On our labs, they should be about a 2 to a 7, even though the range says 2 to 19.6, but that doesn't reflect normal. That reflects what America is. And Jay Leno was talking about obesity decades ago and making jokes about it, which is no joke. It's really serious. But you have to have enough vitamins and minerals, and I don't care how organic you eat. You're not getting enough vitamins and minerals. And if you're eating junk food or stuff that's prepared, you're certainly not. You need to shop around the edges of the grocery store, just get the produce basically and the good meat. You have to have enough protein intake daily. And sometimes I'll tell people, well, your protein's low in your lab. And they said, well, I'll eat more of it. I said, that's not the point. The point is you're not really digesting it. So when you eat protein, and I think the formula is a 0.36 times your weight in pounds equals how many grams a day that you should have. Then you have to have proper blood flow. And the blood flow is impaired greatly if you have those wild glucose or insulin swings. And that's one reason why people get high blood pressure. But if you do those mandatory factors, it takes 3 months minimum for the first follicle of the hair to grow. Your body kind of responds depending on whether you have allergies. I've been agitated ever since I did a test and found out that things I'm sensitive to are 3 things I love the most in life. And the allergies and inflammation. Janet kind of has a smirk over there. I'm sure that's not directed at me.
No, that's why I won't do that test, because I think that, I take probably 3/4 of the store already. I think I don't need to hear one more thing that's wrong with me and I can't have. So, and it's great for people that really can't get to the root of problems and want to know more, but it's very depressing now because now now? Is it because you ate so much of that you're allergic to it? Or, we don't know.
Well, what that means is Janet is not going to do guilt, and she doesn't want to do anything different. And again, you heard me say it just a few minutes ago. Estrogen's the pig in the parking lot that ties up parking spaces and never leaves. Estrogen's made in the fat cells, whether you're male or female. Estrogens, you get them from plastics, pesticides, from your carpet, from building materials. It outgasses from the carpet. You get fire retardants off your pillows and mattresses and et cetera, et cetera. They act like estrogen. So, folks, you kind of need to cut the estrogen down, and we know how to do that. And there are things that you can take that help your body adapt to the stress, and hopefully you don't have a bad mental response to it. Ashwagandha is one of them. I really like that. But let's talk for just a minute about things that's really, really important. The middle layer of the skin is called the dermis. That's kind of the support bridge that keeps the skin pretty, decreases inflammation. The best thing you can do for that is something called collagen. It's the type 1, type 2. This is so good. Of course, I sell it to people that have bad backs because as it gathers up water, it's hygroscopic, then it lubricates. It's like putting grease into the ball joint, so to speak. And this has the good magnesium, vitamin C. It has enough protein, but it has something called gelatin hydrolysate, which is Fortigel. That's a registered trademark. Then it's got the Tendoactive. Then it has the Mobile. These are the well-researched things. It's called collagen.
And that stuff not only helps your skin, nails, and hair, but it helps you with mobility. It's like putting WD-40 in your joints.
I can work harder and my back does not kill me. My back kills me just because of an old gunshot wound a long time ago, but accidental. But
and story for another day.
Yeah, I tell people I did shoot a man when I was 24, and they go, "Oh my God!" And that's the problem with some of these advertisements. They only tell you part of the truth. The truth is, yes, I did shoot a man when I was 24. The real part of the truth is it was me, and it was an accident. I dropped a pistol and it went off. So the moral of the story is don't carry cheap pistols. Don't drop them. But the dermis, the middle skin layer, contains hyaluronic acid. And that's a large, it's a sugar-like compound called glycosaminoglycans, GAG for short. And that retains the water. And that's why it puffs up and makes the wrinkles more shallow. And when you're more dehydrated, you'll notice that the wrinkles get worse. So that collagen is a really, really incredible thing. Janet has one that she likes that I've not actually tried. I do the collagen every day, though.
Well, this one actually helps your nails grow and your hair grow and your eyebrows grow, which a lot of women have problems with, and like they don't have a whole eyebrow. This one's called Cosmedix, and it's got, you ladies out there probably heard of biotin. Well, it has 500 micrograms of biotin in it, but it also has...
it's the free-form, very absorbable stuff.
Yeah, it has MSM, horsetail, saw palmetto, stinging nettles, faux tea root, and paba, which is one of the...
Para-aminobutyric acid.
Yeah, okay. And betaine hydrochloric, so that you can break it down and absorb it in the gut. And it's also got quite a lot of B12 and folate. So it's really good at helping grow nails. When I was up at the beauty store today, I saw that there were things you could put on your fingernails to make them grow, and they're trying to give you the nutrients on top of your nails. So why don't you take it internally so the whole body has it, and then the nails will just grow?
Yeah, I started to name this podcast Beauty Comes from the Inside Out, but we didn't get around to that. So, when you get a disease or premature aging, what that is the ability of the matrix of the cell to flush and control the free radicals, and that's why nutrition is absolutely incredible and totally important. And then you've got to have fresh, clean water to help with that too. pH balance, there's a lot of misinformation about pH, but the main thing is you have to keep your body more alkaline. So anytime you drink water, you need to put lemon or lime in it. And Janet and I do that. We do it with beer too. People look at me and say, I want this with a lime. They look at me funny. I said, it alkalizes the body while I sin. So pH of the skin is very important, but you need to start from the inside out. It does help lose weight, and those things that create acidic conditions and cause you to age very prematurely is the acid-forming foods, poor diet, stress, coffee. Oh, geez, I wish I hadn't said that. Coffee and alcohol, smoking, chemicals that you're full of anyway, dehydration. We talked about parasites, which is usually yeast, but can be worse than that. Constipation and poor bowel health. Overweight people that have excess acid, you've got to understand that's stored in your fat cells, and you have a very difficult time losing weight. Like you eat very little but keep gaining. Yes, it's because it's so acidic. The body's reluctant to get rid of that extra acid and dump it out because your body's already not detoxing. So you can't really lose weight until you do lots of alkaline foods like green foods, grapefruit seed, grape juice, the things that most of us don't eat enough. And it's like dark leafy greens, artichokes, beets, broccoli, carrots, cucumbers, dandelion greens, green beans, red cabbage, spinach, squash, capsicum, yams, zucchini, almonds, lemons and limes, even in your beer, apple cider vinegar, which I'm not a big fan of. It works, but it tastes yucky. Chlorophyll. So keep doing more and more of those, and you will lose weight, but you've got to get the pH to alkaline it. Then your hair, skin, and nails get a lot better. And I tell people, dying's not a sin. I just want to be a really pretty corpse at a real old age when I get there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we do have a few questions today as well before we get back to more about beauty, which I know Dr. Lewis has more information, but we do want to make sure we have addressed these questions because they were very important things. We have a couple of people that were asking about sleeping. You know, sleeping's got to do with whether or not you look good the next day, whether or not you have enough or not. And if you don't have enough, you don't look so great. You look a little bit tired, and then you don't look too pretty. So we have a couple of people that say they're waking up at 5 a.m. and they're lucky to get to sleep till 6:30. Well, is that a sign of being old, or is that
well, that
James
comes,
did not ask that, but I'm asking, is that a sign?
That comes from James, and then Joe up in Saline, Michigan, piped in. James said he's waking up at 5. But if he gets lucky, he sleeps till 6:30. And I said, so the question is about getting lucky. Well, if getting lucky means you sleep till 6:30, then get lucky every night. I'm not sure that's how he meant it. But the body has a clock, a biological body clock. And 5 a.m., the meridian is...
I'm guessing the colon.
It goes from 5 to 7.
But it depends upon if you're in daylight savings time. So is it respiratory or is it colon?
That's always the question, because lungs are like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. So it may be you're trying to get rid of the acidity, and you do that through the lungs too. And it could be the next meridian is 5 to 7 a.m., and that's colon. So I personally think y'all should talk about cleansing
I'm going with colon because if he's can only sleep till 6:30, then that means he's more in the meridian of the colon meridian. So make sure your trains are moving through during the daytime, every 30 minutes to an hour after a meal. So if it's not doing that, then you need to expedite your train so that you'll sleep through the night and your colon won't be nagging you at that time of day.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about probiotics when she asked the question that Maggie was saying about keto. She's having trouble staying on keto. And I think keto is probably the best diet for most people. You know, the Atkins, Primal, Paleo, Keto. Maggie said she has all those cravings. And then Tara piped in and says, well, you probably need to eat more fat, which I do agree with. But the key to cleaning the colon and to stopping a lot of the cravings is to get enough probiotics in your system. Folks, it's not as easy as taking a probiotic or eating yogurt. Most yogurts you shouldn't eat anyway. because most probiotics, it takes a lot of them and a long time to get it established in the GI tract because of the toxins. And, even if you don't drink chlorinated water, you're showering in it. So let me talk about probiotics, which would help with the colon, help you sleep longer, help you sleep more peacefully. Because when I get agitated and irritated, Janet gives me one of the, holy God, really big probiotics that I normally wouldn't take because it costs too much. And
you do sleep good. Every time I give you those, you sleep like a baby.
Yeah, I really do, because they help decrease the toxins there. But here's the thing. The bifidobacterium, especially the Bifidobacterium infidus, actually increases the serotonin precursor of tryptophan. Tryptophan turns to serotonin like 5-HTP does. Serotonin is the feel-good hormone, so if you feel good, you sleep much more deeply, and that's detoxing your colon as you go. Another time, there was a study, I remember reading about it somewhere. It normalized, the Bifidobacterium normalized your immune system response, and it reversed negative behavioral effects, restored some of your, I think it was gamma aminobutyric acid, which that's the one, if you have anxiety, you probably have a GABA or a dopamine deficiency. So the Bifidobacterium helps with that, but the lactobacillus helps a lot too, and it helps, these microbes helps things like the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the adrenal axis. So it goes from brain all the way to the adrenals and back. And just by throwing in good probiotics over and over again, it does that. That's pretty interesting that it would do that. So most of the research says that a gut imbalance in many cases contributes to psychiatric disorders with patients that have bowel disorders. So gut, and that has everything to do with hair, skin, and nails too.
Very, very interesting. Whoever thought probiotics could make you pretty?
Well, my microbiome likes your microbiome, so mine must know beauty when they see it.
I love that. Okay, and then we also wanted to mention a very special lady that we have a lot of very special ladies, but this one was very special this week because they sent us a card, and we were pretty excited about it because this poor lady, we really worried about her, and Dr. Lewis and her wrote back and forth. Her name is Kimberly, and they live
in Tennessee.
And she had MRSA. It was on her face, and was having a hard time getting it gone. I mean, she was scared, which that's kind of a bad bug to have that you can't hardly get rid of. And through some of the treatments here that Dr. Lewis suggested to her, which I think was like lauricidin and olive leaf and
colloidal silver.
Yeah, we have one called Argentin that's super strong. She started taking them, and we thought, well, we haven't heard from her in a few weeks, and Dr. Lewis just ironically sent her an email and said, how are you doing? Well, that next day, we got the most beautiful card, which makes us, this is the reason we do what we do. She wrote to us, and the card said, "Blessed are the givers, and grateful are the receivers." And that just pretty much summed up the reason we do this, I mean, there's no words after reading that, and it's like, you guys are the reason that we are here to start with. We're very grateful for each and every one of you. We're very grateful that you guys listen to us. You ask questions. We love educating you. We try to learn more because of you. And we are just thrilled to know that we've made someone's life better.
And that's been a lesson. We've got a couple of new young ladies here that we're very excited about that's going to give y'all very good service. And I told one of them, who's a little bit shy, I said, "Honey, you need to give out what you think you don't have. And when I don't feel appreciated, I write thank you notes." So Kim in Antioch, Tennessee, just, oh my God, I just love her. But she made me cry years ago, writing me a sweet letter about her son. And we don't even treat this stuff. We just throw in lots of nutrients and ask God to bless it. Just like for the sleep, you throw in melatonin, you throw in 5-HTP, you throw in best rest formula. You finally find what you need. And the ones that say thank you, Janet and I say, no, thank you. You make our day. You give us encouragement to keep going. And it's just absolutely incredible, the people that are getting better and better and better, because they put in the nutrients, they put in the positive expectations, and put in the faith and the time. So thank you.
They do the work, because it is a ministry for us. And without you guys interacting with us and telling us what's happening, you know, we have no way to know if you got better or not. So we really do appreciate all the positive feedback. And it's made me prettier today. So I think we've concluded this show with beauty. And if you have questions, please ask us on Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis on Facebook. You can be asked to be added to that closed Facebook group. He does answer questions, and it's pretty entertaining sometimes. And
I was told to put on a filter today.
There is a health survey on our website that if you're having trouble and don't know where to start, go to greenwisdomhealth.com, fill out our health survey. We can help you figure out which lab panel is best for you. With what we've mentioned today, we're recommending the comprehensive panel. And I'm going with women's hormones on this one because, you know, women are always concerned about how they look. Men just always seem to look better the older they get. So, you know, this is for the women today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll be back here next time with another exciting show. Have a blessed week.
Once again, our show has come to an end, but your hope in your health is only beginning. If you or a loved one are in need of a different outcome and are waiting for a brighter future, take the first step and go to our website and fill out the health survey. Please don't keep us a secret. If you know someone that could benefit from this podcast, please share this show with your friends and family. You are only one step away from a life worth living.